Okay. Yes, we are live. Let me adjust the camera. For some reason, it always seems to adjust itself a little bit between live streams. I think that's better. Um, yeah, okay. This might become sort of a rant, one of those live streams, and that's just how it is. So get ready. Maybe I'll be able to contain myself, but who knows? Who knows? Good morning to everyone. And first, a little bit of information concerning this channel. This channel recently, well, just was that yesterday? No, a couple of days ago. It reached 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And I want to thank all of you who have subscribed to this channel. It's a milestone, and yeah, it's amazing. So thank you, thanks a lot. I made a post in under the community tab on this channel concerning the donation, $1,000 that I am donating to a few animal charities to celebrate that this channel reached 100,000 subscribers. So, I am sorry about my untidy appearance. That's just how it is. Um, but let's see here now. Lots of people are joining. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Um, and why animal charities? Corey Geen 71. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. Okay. And I'll just be a little bit brutal here. If you have problems understanding that, then maybe this is not the right channel for you. You might leave. That's okay. Now, let me talk about Donald Duck. Yeah, if you're hearing some strange sounds, that's one of the dogs yawning. Let me talk about Donald Duck. Why Donald Duck? Carl Barks, he made these long format stories where Donald Duck and his nephews and they go on these adventures, right? So, um, what has that got to do with anything, you may ask? Well, one of those stories, and I really enjoyed these stories when I was a kid. So one of these stories, they go to, I can't remember now. Is it, well, far north in Canada or something like that, on the east coast there, and they find a Viking helmet, cartoon style with wings on the side and everything. And the one who has the Viking helmet becomes ruler of North America. You must forgive me if I remember incorrectly here. Um, Logan, thanks a lot for that awesome donation. So they find this Viking helmet, and in the team, and Donald Duck and his nephews, they are part of that team looking for that helmet. They start arguing who's going to have the helmet, and of course, the one who takes care of the helmet becomes tempted to put it on his head, and then they get these ideas of grandeur and might and power, and they start figuring out how they're going to tax people, the peasants. and now I come to my point here. Yes, Scrooge. He was not in that story, I think. No, so I think, if I remember correctly, that Donald Duck, and it might have been one of the other guys there, but let's just say it was Donald Duck. he has this brilliant idea that he will tax people per breath. So they will walk around with a meter on their chest, and every time they take a breath, the meter will register that, and they will be taxed for that. And I think it's a brilliant story. It's amusing and it's funny, and I think it's just a story that everyone should read, especially now, because it seems like that's actually the direction our politicians and the fine people who think that they are our rulers. That's where they are going, I think. It looks like that. Okay, you might say that's a bit over the top. That's a bit extreme to say that, but listen to this. Recently I've had some news coming my way concerning new taxes. Um, Cars, of course, that's a story on its own. We're not supposed to have cars, are we? Not even electric cars. Just wait and see. Just let's give it 10 years, and we can talk about that again. Um, in in the USA, I believe now they have this new. The politicians there made a decision that if you want to film in one of the national parks, you will have to pay a fee. You can't just go and do that. And if you're a YouTuber, it's considered a commercial thing, and you have to apply and so on and so on. In the UK, well, why would people care about that? Well, you should, because it paints a pattern here. Okay, if you go to the UK, they are talking about putting heavy fines on wood burning stoves. Yes, you heard me correctly. If you have a wood burning stove in your house, they will probably have a meter there to see if it's below some kind of level, and if it's not, and it probably won't be, then you will be fined, which will result in people not using their wood burning stove, I guess. I don't know. Um, it's and I could give you many more examples. Um, Electric power in Norway, which is pretty much self-sufficient because of the waterfalls here with electric power. The prices have, I don't know, is it like 1,000% increase since after they connected us to the European network, and the price model there it's extreme, and we still have to pay VAT on that. So the state gets richer and richer and richer, wealthier, wealthier, wealthier. And for most people, it goes the other way because everything gets more expensive, more expensive, more expensive, and they keep adding taxes to everything. So my main problem with cities, no, one of my big problems that I have with cities is that when you go there, whatever you do, it costs money. If you want to go to the toilet, it costs money. If you want to have something to eat, you're probably not allowed to sit and eat the food that you brought. It's sick. It's insane. You have to pay someone. You have to buy food and to sit down and all of that. So it paints a picture. And I know that, for instance, in the UK, the Dartmoor um, problem there with these wealthy people saying that, well, now you can't come and camp out on Dartmoor. Um, but then they decided that, well, you can if you pay some money for that. It's greed, and it's a violation of what I consider to be the freedom that should be yours. we should all have the freedom to heat our houses with a wood-burning stove, and we should have the freedom to go and make YouTube videos and, out in nature and things like that. Now, concerning YouTube videos, there are, of course, things that you need to keep in mind, like you don't go and film other people unless you have asked them first, of course, and you just don't do that. Well, some people do, but they shouldn't. And yeah, so my frustration here is that it seems like these politicians and the people who own the politicians, they keep telling us, the little people, if you will, that, well, we're going to tax the rich people. It's going to be fair. The rich people need to pay more taxes. Now, let me translate that for you. What that means is that you are going to pay more taxes. That's what it means. Okay. Most likely, unless I guess you are very poor. But even if you are, if you want to eat, you'll have to pay taxes for that. That's the VAT, and they will keep adding taxes on everything else that you do. So it is not moving in the right direction. And you know that I am in support of personal freedom. And I've said many times, it doesn't mean that I'm a libertarian. We need to have some rules and regulations concerning safety. For instance, we can't just let people drive around while they're drunk. That's one example, but let's not get into that topic here. So it is amazing that people don't speak out, and rebel against this. It seems like people are just bending their neck and accepting these taxes, and it's that's why they do it, because they know that they can. Okay. So, Big Red says, I love this channel. Well, thanks a lot. That's very kind of you. Now, let me get to the comments here. I like to reply to comments because sometimes I learn quite a lot from the comments, and well, thank you. That's very kind. Yeah, a good point here from Joshua. Taxing the rich just makes people pay more for goods and services. The people will always pay in the end somehow. Yeah, that's a very good point, and thank you for that, Jason. Joshua, sorry. And Jason says, by the way, sooner or later, when you bend your neck, you lose your head. So here's the thing. I think that in general, socialist parties, political parties, and people with that political leaning in general do not understand how things work. Okay. They believe very often that wealthy people are sitting there with all their money in their private bank accounts or in private funds. And that's not how it works. Companies own stuff. Companies make money. So, for instance, I have my business is structured in such a way that it's my company that makes the money, and my company pays me wages every month. And why do I do that? I do that because of taxes. So let's say you have a big company, and they add taxes to so-called rich people, and maybe they even increase the taxes for companies. And what happens? Well, do you think the companies, the CEOs, they're making decisions and so on, do you think they are going to just sit there and say, well, they are increasing the taxes now, so I guess we won't make that much money, because taxes is a cost. It's most likely the biggest cost that you have, the single biggest cost every year. And they're not going to sit there and just accept that. They're going to say, well, actually, we need to stay at the same level of revenue. How do we do that? We increase the price of what we're selling. So ordinary people will be paying for the increased taxes. Okay, a little bit simplified, I know, but that's the mechanism that comes into play here. And also, as Lexi says, the companies will just move to another country where taxes are lower. Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. So, Jason says, I guess you're referring to people with a socialist political leaning. They possess that you're saying that they possess a child's understanding of where money comes from. Yeah, very often I see that. Now, there will be people in Norway. It's a little bit, people will. You have social democrats there. It's a bit difficult to understand for Americans maybe, but they are not what you would think of as socialists. Some of them are, but you will find people in like the Labour Party. They do understand how business work and so on. But it's a little bit more complicated here. But in general, internationally, I would say socialists do not understand how this works. And if you ask me, I think that a lot of their motivation comes from envy. So, what will be the next thing that they will be taxing? Could be anything. But my guess is that things you need to have, things that you can't opt out of, will be taxed heavier in the future, in the near future. Food, heating your house, traveling, or transportation. Things like, just off the top of my head, any kind of child care, any kind of medical assistance, and these things. I won't say that in Insano bin Looney. I won't say that one, but that's funny. Yeah. Will they have a meter for that on? And Corrigine 71 says taxes in the future will all have an environmental bias. Yes, that's at least many of them could be like that. Yeah. Jesper Andersen from Denmark, I suppose, says all their motivation comes from envy. All those parties on the red side here in Denmark are clueless. They want to raise the top taxes for those earning a lot and for companies. Yeah, let me just say a few words about that. And I've never understood this thing where you're not supposed to tell people if you earn a lot of money. Well, I earn a lot of money. Why is that? Well, I'm quite active here on YouTube with 3 channels, and I am a novelist. So basically, I'm working full time. And I did say that I was going to go into part-time early retirement. It didn't work out that way because, yeah, it didn't work out that way. So basically, I have income from many sources, and That's a good thing. I'm quite proud of that fact. Um, but what happens, and this is from personal experience, what happens when they increase taxes for high incomes? Now, if you work in a company and you're paid per month, um, you will just pay more taxes then, because you're not going to work less. You work maybe 40 or 50 hours a week. That's how it is. But what if you have people ask you to do things in addition to that you can say no to? And I'll give you one example. People sometimes ask me to come and do lectures, like on a stage, reading, talking, things like that. And then I have to explain to them that, let's say it takes me one day to travel back and forth there, and then I get paid for the lecture. But I have to tell them that, you see, I pay top taxes on that. That's half of the income or something like that. And yes, it does go into my company, but still, when, yeah, you get my point there. Um, very often I will say it's not worth it for me, because what I'm left with after the company has paid taxes, and let's say I pay out a yearly sum of money to myself, I will pay taxes on that as well. That's 30, they increased that actually recently, 36% on money that has already been taxed in the company. So we end up with around a little bit more than 50% taxes paid off that. So, it's like, it's not very often, it's not worth it. And then you decide, no, I won't do it. I won't do it because the taxes, it's just too much. It's not worth it anymore for me. So that's how it works very often. Yeah, we pay half of what we earn in taxes when you have a high income. Yes. Eric is asking, do you have a water tax there? Well, yes and no. Well, it's a bit, it's, I have to, sorry, what's this called in English? Property tax and renovation and water, all of these things go into the same thing here. So I just call it property tax, you know. But that's, yes, we do pay for everything here. So, um, okay. Okay, totally not everything one says. It's like in that one SpongeBob episode where Mr. Krabs has a bill for Squidward that says bill breathing $1, talking $5, standing $10, existing $2. Yeah. Alex99X says Norway's taxes were always insane. Yes. And recently we have had a lot of people, wealthy people, moving to Switzerland because of the taxes. That's a good sign to the politicians that maybe you've gone too far. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I I absolutely think that it's a good thing that we have a system where we pay some money so that the state can take care of sick people, that children can go to schools and things like that. And we need a security system like police, we need all these functions in our society, but it must be obvious to everyone. I guess it's not, but it should be obvious to everyone that what we are seeing now is that they are putting tax or increasing already existing taxes on functions in your life that you can't get away from. And there is, now, if I remember correctly from my studies, economic studies, that kind of taxes, is that what they call lump sum taxes? No, that's when you pay everyone pay the same amount. But it kind of is, because it doesn't matter if they increase the VAT on food, which they have suggested to do. How insane is that? If they increase the VAT on food, then my wife is a lawyer, and I have two incomes, so we're okay. But we will pay the same. I mean, we don't eat more food than poor people. So poor people will pay the same tax on the food that they buy as we do. Now, as you may have guessed, I am not a socialist, but I don't think that's fair. Now, I'm not saying that we should pay more for our food than poor people. They should just lower the taxes so that everyone can afford healthy food. And by the way, if they're going to have VAT, like taxes on food, well, at least use that VAT in a sensible manner so that healthy food, I believe healthy food should have no VAT, while food that you really don't need, like, candy, uh, potato chips, it's like you don't need that. It's something that you can buy on Saturdays, as a treat or something like that. But uh, eggs, meat, fish, vegetables, like real food, is something that you need. It's healthy, it's good for you. That's what you're supposed to eat. They should do what they can with the taxes so that it's affordable for everyone. Isn't that common sense? I mean, yes, food should not be taxed as a luxury, absolutely. But what I'm saying is that there are some food that, candy. Nobody really needs candy. You don't have to eat candy, but you can. So they could add the tax on that if they need to add tax on food, like, and sugary drinks, I guess, some things like that. But um, that's it's isn't that common sense? They could even use the taxes VAT to make, and I know this is some of you will hate me for saying this, but they could even use the taxes to make some kind of food more expensive so that people would buy less of that food. Again, candy. uh, I know the big thing with the politicians now is that they are trying to tell us that meat is unhealthy and so on. Um, uh, it's not, but that's their agenda. That's what they're saying. It's highly unscientific to say that, but they don't care about that. Um, but yeah, candy makers will not like this idea. Yeah, it's like, now I have to admit I don't eat much candy. No, I don't eat much candy. I was going to say vegetables. I don't eat much vegetables myself. Um, and But I do think that it's a valuable thing in your diet for most people, and you know It's insane that they tax that. It's just insane. Um, Eggs as well. Eggs is a superfood, you know. Yeah. Um, so, what's the next thing? If I didn't ask already, what's the next thing they will add taxes on? And by taxes, I mean make it so that you will have to pay or pay more for something. They might not call it taxes, you know. um, Tax to speak, tax on sleeping, transportation, yeah, speech, yeah. How would they do that? Keeps popping up this, James. um, yeah, yeah. Runar is saying that only eat food that is not mass produced. Yeah, that's the processed food is not healthy. That's that's true. Um, let's see here. Yeah, they will find a way. um, yeah, that's Lawrence says they will have ears listening, and if you use the wrong words, they will tax you like in the movie Demolition Man. Yeah, that movie was prophetic. I think they didn't mean to, but it has become one of those movies that paints a picture of the future that we can now recognize in our daily life. And there is one scene there, it must be one of the best and funniest scenes in any Hollywood movie ever. And this movie was, of course, made back in the days when Hollywood managed to make good movies. And it's when this guy Stallone, Sylvester Stallone, he needs to go to the toilet, but there is no toilet paper, so he just curses to this machine on the wall, and it prints fines. I thought that was very funny. He got the paper he needed. Um, yeah, yeah, seashells. How did that work? I don't want to know. Um, uh, Kiyosha says, I hope you didn't watch Grammys. You'll be repulsed. Oh, I was sent some photos, and um, yes, what's going on there? Um, Now there was this funny TV show that was actually, was it BBC? Little Britain, quite a few years ago. Very funny. Um, and what's this thing about middle-aged guys with stubs, like beard stubs and a beer belly, moving in a feminine way and pretending to be women? What's that about? I'm sorry, I don't understand what's going on there. What is going on? Have they gone completely insane? Because I find it laughable, but I understand that if I laugh, I'm a bigot, right? So is it cruel to laugh? Is it, I, how could it be cruel? Because these people are wealthy pop artists, aren't they? What do I know? I'm a middle-aged man. I'm sitting here in my this is one of my offices. It's where I have my camping gear and my bow, some of my bows and books and all sorts of stuff. Lots of sleeping bags over there. So it's like I'm all my stuff is in this little room here. Um, yeah, if if you're married, you will know what it's like. But anyway, bit of a sidetrack there. What's going on with the Grammys? I don't even know what the Grammys is. You'll have to inform me. Is it? I've heard the name. Is it like they celebrate TV shows, or is it like the one where they celebrate music? No, it's an award show, right? Awards for music awards. Thank you. Music awards. Oh, that's dark. Insano Pindluni. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. Yeah, well, oh, Luke and Mom, you think they will tax you on your my beard? That would be horrible. I would pay a lot of taxes then. Will it be per centimeter? Um, yeah, well, yeah, I now I'm not informed very well when it comes to modern pop music. I do not I'm not interested, to be honest, and the same with the TV show award and what's it called? Oscar, and all that. Um, but I do enjoy a good TV series. I do like good music, absolutely. But I kind of mostly listen to music that was made a long time ago. Not saying that no good music is made, but now, but it's like comes with age, I guess. Comes with age. Uh, it was like Satan's. Was it? Was that what what's it called? Grammy? Grammy. The Grammys. Also Emmys, Golden Globes, and MTV. Are they still active? MTV Music Awards. Uh, okay, thank you. I've learned something new. Amon Amarth, yes, they still make music. I'll listen to their new music as well. Um, yeah, now that's a funny thing there. We're a bit off topic, but I guess that's okay. It's it's this idea that the visuals and their opinions and things outside of the music should matter. I don't think it should. Well, with the exception if like there's someone who is a violent drug addict who beats up women, I probably wouldn't buy that album if I knew. You know, it's like I I, I would not like to listen to that music. But apart from that, I'm why do they put this much emphasis on the visuals? I don't understand. Right, right. I guess it's a show, but even so, if it's a show, why? And I only saw this one image. Some guy who's like a middle-aged fat man and acting like a woman. Why? What's the attraction? I don't understand. What is it to get attention? I guess it is, but why? I don't even care. I would probably if I maybe I've heard I don't know who this person is, but it's like if I heard music made by that person and I liked the music, I would probably listen to it, but I wouldn't be able to connect it to a name or that image. And honestly, I don't care. I mean, it's like, why would I care? That these artists, they can look however they like, because they are supposed to make music, right? And also, I don't care if someone wants to try to come across as the other gender and all of that. I don't care. It's I guess that's a private thing, and why this? No, yeah. As you can understand, I'm a middle-aged man sitting here. I don't know everything. Um, so just sharing some thoughts here. Yeah, I did get that one. Yeah, brought to you by the ICER people. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So, um, Shining Knocked Out says life is a journey indeed, akin to walking through the forest or mountains. Yes, absolutely. Oh, that's classic rock lover. That's a good point. And you're writing it's about merchandising as much as music. Artists all want to sell fashion, cosmetics, perfume. Royalties is where the real money is made. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah, of course. Of course. Um, and I don't think about these things because I don't care. And I don't care because the artists that I know about, if they put their name on a product, I will not buy it because they put their name on a product. So let's say Madonna. Yeah, I know who Madonna is because I was a young man when she was, active. Well, I guess she's still active. I don't care. But if they put her name on something, a product, I will probably not buy it because I don't like her. I think she's a nasty old woman. I don't like I don't like her. So I wouldn't buy that product. Um, yeah. But I guess there are people who love these artists. I guess there are. So, but that's a good point. Classic rock lover, absolutely. Um, let's see. Oh, Kylie says, I own a house now, and I want to thank you for motivating me to make it happen. I hope you get my email. I do get lots of emails, so I am it, and I must be honest with you here concerning emails. I will not be able to even read them all because there are so many. So um, that's just how it is. And but I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. Um, now, let me try to get back to the topic for this live stream before I finish here. I Now I think here's one thing that needs to happen if we are to move forward in a sensible and good way. Um, Private property needs to be respected. We need to, we need to bring back pride in ownership. Now you have your own house now. Congratulations, well done. That's something that should motivate other people to build to build something in their life, if you know what I mean. We know, of course, that certain people, they are saying, you will owe nothing and you will be happy. We're going to fight that. We are not going to accept that, because ownership is important and it needs to be respected. We can't have that these politicians and these people add so much taxes on owning a house that most people can't afford it. These basic things needs to be, they need to leave that alone. They shouldn't touch that, if you ask me. So, but I do not doubt that they will keep adding taxes on everything that you can't opt out of. And that's how it is. Doesn't mean that we should accept it. We should not accept it, and we should fight it. So, oh, Alex, really? I didn't know that. You're saying that here in Romania, 98% of people own their houses. Yeah, and also Andrew the Chipmunk. You're talking about farming and agriculture. It makes me think about this one thing that is very important. If you own a house, you will most likely have a property. You can grow food there. Now, in some cases, it's not. In many cases, most cases, it's not enough property. It won't be enough to make yourself, to feed you like all year round from the food that you grow. But it gives you a sense of being self-sufficient. It connects you with the food. And also, it is extremely environmentally friendly. If you grow your own vegetables, it can't get more environmentally friendly than that. So I think it should be something that people should be encouraged to do. So, okay. Yeah. Now, Nicholas says, I love gardening. James. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, chickens. Yeah, we would have had chickens if it was not for our dogs. They like chickens, but yeah, they would just stand at the fence and be obsessed with the chickens. So we can't have chickens. But and also, I would really like to have free range chickens. We can't have that because of these two guys here, or the guy and the girl here currently sleeping. That would be, we would not have the chickens very long. So, but yeah, James says my chickens are in no cage. Wonderful. That's how it should be. Yeah. Night Cry Deep Paul says trying to acclimate two huskies to baby chicks right now. Cookie therapy. Thank you for that. Yes, it was awesome to reach 100,000 subscribers. It's the second time I do that, and it's not easy. It's not easy. Jane says, I love my home. It is my sanctuary. Going to try growing produce this year, hopefully. Wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. I am going to end this live stream now. And again, thank you for being part of this community. And thank you for subscribing and for your comments and wonderful conversations that we have. I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. And yeah, have a wonderful day or night, and we'll talk soon. Bye.